All right, I'm at Gen Con 2024, and I'm here to do another game jam with Kyle Ott.
Hello.
Of
Desks and Dorks.
Yes. Your game here is...
You Have Always Lived in the Lighthouse.
You've Always Lived in the Lighthouse.
Which we just funded on Kickstarter recently, so thank you to all of our backers. And hello, everybody who likes Matt.
All right,
which is most people.
We're going to do a game jam.
We're going to do a game jam.
Okay, so start the timer.
All right, how long do you want a time for? That was my
15 minutes.
15 minutes.
15-minute timer.
That is entirely kind. All right, I love it. I'm in. So just
start it. Just start it.
All right, cool.
All right, now that we've started the timer, we can start talking about games.
All right,
what
I love it.
What kind of game? Good. We're both RPG kind of people, so
yes.
I assume we're going to do an RPG, but we don't have to.
Okay.
We could try to do some sort of this. What is even in this box?
I don't even know. I opened it up. I'll be honest. I was like rifling through your dice, and I see ones with gears and train tracks, and this looks like I don't even know what that is.
This is like components for, this is a sample, production sample.
So this looks like what was a component for like a worker placement game or something where like the resources move down.
Yeah.
My thought process.
It also looks like a razor blade.
It also does look like a razor. My thought process, I wonder if a D4 would fit.
Oh, look at that.
Almost neatly, and it kind of does.
It almost does.
So I don't know about you. I always like to design theme first.
Yeah, sure.
And so if a theme grabs me, I find that it's much easier to work on mechanics.
Sure.
So I'm just pulling out, like, these lightning dice I think are amazing.
Yeah.
This I think is cool. I feel like we got to do something. I'm going to show this.
Okay, so lightning dice makes me think that this is some sort of machine, right? So this is some sort of production cycle thing that's going to be counting down.
Okay.
And it's powered by the lightning. Is that hitting you?
So I like the countdown, but instead of counting down, what if it counts up?
Sure.
Because I have been on a Mary Shelley kick recently.
Okay.
And I was thinking, so obviously Frankenstein stitched together with a bunch of body parts.
Exactly.
And so all of those personalities, I imagine, would play a role. What if what if Frankenstein is coming to life, and we are, as this ticks up, we're playing through the different lives of the body of Frankenstein.
That's a really interesting thing. That's really cool.
Because the phrase "the many lives of Frankenstein" reaches out and grabs me in like my brain in like a cool way.
I mean, that's a great title.
Yeah, that's a great. I was gonna say it feels like a good
game start. Okay, so do we want to do? Are we going to do like a randomized way to determine, like, are there going to be prompts for the lives? Because this is a tarot card deck.
This is
a tarot. Want to use that?
Yeah, let's try it
for that kind of a thing.
We can.
Or we've got regular playing cards here as well. If that's less.
I would like to get away from regular playing cards after having just made a game of regular playing cards. Sure. I want to try something different.
Sure.
I like the idea of tarot cards. I guess I'm in. So, my question to you, right, as a fellow designer, is: Are we trying to build? Is Frankenstein coming through all of those lives until we reach what will become his actual or their actual personality, or is this Frankenstein sort of bringing together the gestalt parts of that consciousness into one being?
I almost feel my initial thought is that it's actually a tragedy that the body parts are going to be erased once they become Frankenstein.
Yes. Okay.
So there's you were trying to have this sort of look at all these beautiful people that these body parts used to be,
and they're all going to die except for one.
But there's now a hideous monster that's taken their place because it's Frankenstein.
Yes. Oh, that's okay. So then, all right. Yes. Okay. So I like this. So as we're doing the tarot cards, what if so again, I love my 2-player RPGs. So what if every one of these? So as this ticks up, right? I'm gonna just do it so our friends at home can see.
Yeah, sure.
As this ticks up, each tick is a scene, and it's two of the body parts.
Ooh.
The lives of whoever those lives were.
Like each connection point.
Yes, coming together, and then by the end of that scene, one of those characters is dead.
So there will be like an elimination round almost.
Yes, one of those characters is consigned to oblivion, and we move on.
It's almost like a bracket.
Yes, it's like a March Madness bracket for the right to exist. Which is objectively horrifying, actually.
Well, we are talking about Frankenstein, which is an
objectively horrifying thing.
Parable about the technology gone too far.
Yes, right. And it's like there's more to life.
Also, it's about you should be a better parent.
Yes, Frankenstein, as we all know, is not the real monster.
Frankenstein's monster is not the monster. Frankenstein is the monster.
Yes. Turns out, wow, in an age of AI, man, who knew unchecked intellectual thought would be a problem? That's never.
So there's 7 slots here.
7 slots. So 7 scenes.
7
potentially.
Scenes, potentially. So are we going to completely randomize, or do we want to do a subset of these?
Yeah. I guess my initial thought, and I don't know what yours was that.
First thought, best thought. We only got 10 minutes left.
That's true. Is that each tarot card actually informs what the character was.
Okay.
So the lover, I imagine, is somebody who was deeply in love, whether it's the town fool who's besotted over somebody, and then
yeah.
obviously has met a tragic end. Maybe it's like somebody who is died, but like they're reminiscing about their dead wife, something along those lines.
Okay. Let's use.
Because I'm curious. Yeah,
Let's do. So you pulled out the lightning dice.
Yeah, I have an idea for those.
I also have machine dice.
Oh.
So maybe like we're going to be tracking the body parts with the lightning and the machinery.
Okay.
And sort of like, because if it's like okay, so this is like, let's just start it. Okay. So
Yeah, let's
here's
do
a couple cards.
Love it.
So this is maybe the like the leg. If we only have 7 pieces, so that's like what? That's the 4 limbs, the torso, a head.
Yeah.
So that's.
I don't even know if you
6.
want to. I don't even know if you want to be like we have 7, right? What if like part of character creation is like I'm the spleen of somebody?
Okay, you're doing like
Yeah,
okay,
it doesn't
so it doesn't matter. You're not doing like
Yeah, we don't have,
okay.
but it's the right. So that frees us up, I think, a little bit for space. I guess
Okay.
like narrative space.
Sure.
I guess so. Like for the magus, it's
Look at these odds. This deck has 2 maguses in
Two
it.
maguses,
and
okay.
we both drew mages.
so-
this is like, I know what I want this to be.
tell me. I'm
This is
interested.
a story of like rival twins.
Yes.
So that like,
Oh, yes.
So that they were like, so like these two studiers of the arcane arts were both. So this is
Twin scholars of
Twin
rival
scholars.
schools, right?
Rival schools,
just
right.
And butting heads, and now we're
Right.
both dead, and it's the final.
What was the, so if this is the, so that's the original thing. So like you said spleen, so like what is the, I don't know, I guess I'm going to pick something like maybe the lungs, right?
Sure.
So like what is the scene between these 2 characters?
So if tarot cards are our characters, and this is our timer, right? Which
I guess we got to start at the beginning.
Which ticks us down. My guess, I want to play around with the dice.
Yeah,
I think the
okay.
dice are here. I think what we do, at least for the scene, at least for us, is I think it is. Oh my God! This I don't know if this is too messed up or not, but it's like, is this?
We've already gone messed up already.
Is this an ethics debate about which one of these consciousnesses should move on? Ooh. And like, and if so, do we need a third player?
Yeah.
To be the judge, and like the rotating GM or the rotating maybe not judge but facilitator of this debate is a question.
So 2 thoughts occur. One, no, and the other is I think so we either do it randomly, like that's like we kind of lay out the scene and then randomly determine which one moves forward with a die roll.
Yes.
Or we can sort of like make it into like sort of a bidding thing, like we're narrating the scene and then I'm like, I think this character is like, this is the value that I place on this character, and then
Yes.
you're going to choose another value, and
Okay.
then one of them will be outbid.
I love that idea. Instead of doing bidding, can we do? Because I imagine this actually being like, maybe we get to a place where like one character realizes like I'm okay, like being consigned to oblivion.
Yeah.
So like, and I'm thinking, right, we have an odd number of dice, or we have 3 lightning dice, and we have 3 of these gear dice.
Yeah.
So is there an opportunity, like in Fiasco, how the other characters watching give the dice, is there an opportunity where one of us can say, no, you need to move on. It's better for you. It's better if Frankenstein is you and not me.
Yeah. That's intense, but I like it.
We're leaning intense.
Yeah. I like that.
I think this is a game that, like, if we ever fully fleshed it out, would wreck people. I think emotionally, because I think you'll grow to care like these 2 twins who have hated each other maybe their whole lives.
Oh yeah, I think there's definitely rivalry.
Oh yeah, maybe come to the conclusion they actually don't hate each other, and at the end of that scene, it's the desire they both want the other one to live.
So this is like the vestigial memory of the organs as the first currents of energy are coming into Frankenstein.
Yes.
They're trying to reconcile themselves as the monster wakes up.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
I think so. I like this.
That's so cool.
This.
I'm so mad. That's so cool, actually. Holy shit. Okay.
Okay, so we got to do it. We got to actually play it. Okay, so let's do our do at least a couple scenes here.
Love it. Okay, so quick character creation then.
Yeah.
It's organ. Or it's what body part is your character the part of, right?
Yeah.
Like spleen, lungs.
Right.
Name of the character. Do we want to give characters, or do characters not even have names?
I think they're beyond the need to have names. Like they maybe remember who they were, but I don't think that's
a part of the nameless host of consciousness. If you will.
Yeah.
All right, I love it. And then, so we each get a lightning dice, right? And then I guess I want to do something with the gear dice, but like I can't think of what to do with the gear dice.
Well,
now.
I was thinking, like, if I have 3 to give and you have 3 to give.
Okay, let's try.
Then by the end,
We have something, right?
we'll have each other's dice maybe by the end or something like that. I don't know.
I don't know. Let's try it.
Okay.
And so I think too, these characters should. Have you ever watched the show? There's a show called Death Parade.
No.
And I love it because it's the idea that like every afterlife has a different waiting room for souls, and they're all different like bars or coffee shops or like libraries. And there's one bar. It's the story of like for people who died together in the same place.
Okay.
And it's them having that. So I think. Is it some sort of like it's got to be some sort of like memory recall of the moment we died, or like the most important part of our thing that connects us as characters. I think regardless of what kind of character we make.
Right. So I like that. I like the most a dramatic moment between the two characters. And so you already set them up as students of rival schools. So like I think that moment when they chose opposite, right?
Yeah.
Is like that like parting of like the twins into separate schools is their most intense moment.
Oh my god. Okay. All right. One more thing. I know. I was like,
you're laying a lot on. What else?
No. Let's just do it. Let's do it. All right. So I have 3 dice. You have 3 dice.
Yeah.
All right. And then maybe a third tarot card sets where the scene takes place, or maybe informs us about what the scene is, right? Because I'm struggling to start. Strength.
A 9 of wands.
A 9 of wands.
So almost perfect action.
Almost perfect action. Were we working on the same project and then decided and blamed the other one? It's almost perfect.
Yeah.
And the flaw is the other person. We think the flaw is the other person. Okay.
Yes, that is amazing.
Okay.
That's amazing. So I think so mathematical formula is the first thing I can wrap my mind around.
That's it.
So you got the chalkboard.
Yeah, our last scene is us at the chalkboard.
We got the chalkboard. We've got it all written out. Like it's almost perfect, but it doesn't quite work out, And so like this guy is there, and he's like about to erase something, and he's like, no, I got to start again. We got to start again. It's not right.
And the brawl breaks out.
Yeah. And like, what part do I erase? And they end up erasing each other from their lives, But like,
did we kill each other at the chalkboard? Like, is that worse? Or
it's because you said it was the moment they died.
Or no, I'm okay if that's the most important moment of their relationship.
I think they look back and they're like realize that was when they went into rival schools. They couldn't agree, and like that led to their.
No, I like that one. No, I like that way better than like moment of death, because that's the most important moment of their lives, their consciousness. So if we were going to role play this like it's an actual scene, I imagine our characters are staring at this chalkboard, looking up at each other.
Yeah,
it's that
very contemplative. Like this is, and I've identified this set of symbols here. It's like I think this is what's wrong.
I'm like, no, this is the right call. This is the right call.
But we've already done this. We've gone through this 3 times.
We've done everything 3 times, and it's still not right.
I agree with you there. I agree that it is not right. The sum has not totaled yet to what our goal is. I'm getting out I'm going to do it. I'm just going to erase it. We have to start over.
No, we're not starting over. This is years of work, years of our lives.
But it's led to nothing so far. We have to. Old action required.
Action. Is that what the gears are? Are the gears action? I think that's. So do we roll a dice and see what happens? Or do we just play? Okay.
Well, I don't know. I think you just called the scene. Like I'm like, this requires bold action, and then I do it, and that's like that's.
And that's it. So
you're like you can like maybe. So that's where I claim one of your dice.
Yes. Okay. All right. So this is you're giving me a dice or claiming a dice?
I think you claimed it just now.
Oh, I claim. Okay. I've claimed your dice because it's bold action.
So you've decided that that's the moment of action when it happened, and that was our split.
Okay. So now the question becomes, how do we resolve?
Yeah. Well, I think you. I don't know. This is like inverse fiasco that we're doing here.
I know.
Somehow. So like,
I want more than 15 minutes. I thought 15 minutes was going to go by so slowly, and there's like a minute left on the clock, and I'm just dying right now.
Well, you claimed it, so I think you were like, that's the thing. So to me, that's like you called into the scene, and so your card goes forward.
Okay, wait, hold up. We have 50 seconds. We have 6 dice. There are 7 scenes here. So this character moves forward. Once all of the dice are over, because we have no dice left, the 7th scene isn't a scene between 2 people. it's a scene of us as Frankenstein narrating the monster's first actions. And at first, like our first couple sentences are we do this, we do that, and then eventually it becomes I.
And maybe there's a character. Maybe these words that we collect are like part of that.
Right.
That final. Those first words are the words that cause the scenes to end as you built up. The thing.
Yes, and every dice for every. We actually could keep the dice with each character.
Yeah.
And then as each character blinks out of existence, we could be like, we need it to be perfect.
Right.
Or like if there's another scene between two people that don't like each other, we needed it to be this.
Yeah.
We, and then I, and then the game will end with us together being Frankenstein.
Yeah. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good for 15 minutes, man.
I like it. All right. So we didn't actually play much of the game, but we had some really good ideas.
Yeah.
So what as a designer excites you about like this sort of Frankenstein project that we've kind of half put together?
It's the challenge, I think, for me. Right.
Okay.
As a designer, like I always, and I heard this from a really great novelist once, where he's like, I find the best projects are the ones that scare me the most. And as a designer, like I'm sure if I wanted to, it would be very lucrative to pump out Dungeons & Dragons 5e supplements. I'm no shade to the people that love D&D. It's a wonderful game, but it's a game that I think I've outgrown, and so for me it's safe.
Right.
And I find that when I play it safe, I wind up becoming uninspired and uninterested in what I'm making.
Yeah.
Whereas, like I love the theme of Frankenstein, but the risk to me as a creative, as a person who likes this, is this weird inverse fiasco mechanic.
Yeah.
And trusting that another person is gonna, like, you can claim the scene and like, yes, your character quote unquote loses in that moment.
Right.
But it's like building a system that inspires two people to trust each other enough to be okay with losing. And that with the knowledge that our characters are going to become one character, I think is a really interesting, difficult to design thing, and that excites me because it's a scary idea that sounds hard.
So the second question I'd like to ask is, what's the first thing to get redesigned out of what we've actually done? I think we would want to get to the end first. We want to try and see how some of the scenes line up. Like I like what you were saying about, okay, so this character's off, and then we would pull out two new characters, and then we would have to see which of that survives, and then there's another die there, and then
because obviously we have these little dry erase cards.
Yeah.
So like, for example, I'm going to just show the folks at home, like this scene was all about stuff being perfect.
Yeah.
So if we wanted to do the ending montage, that becomes a shared world building thing.
Right.
So
you would write, I needed it to be perfect.
We needed it to be perfect. What is our, like, and maybe that's a thing too, is like, it'd be interesting too, like we pulled this, and I think you very smartly identified this was an important thing.
Yeah.
Like that shared desire becomes a part of our character's identity.
Oh, so you almost have like two lines of stuff with like all the memories and then the things that inspired the scene.
Like this middle card inspired what links our characters together, right? We are twins, right? We got the same card, but what drove us was it's almost perfect. Like when you said that, it was like, dude, it was awesome. It was like thunder striking. It was like, I'm like, oh my god, it's awesome. Like it needs to be perfect.
Right.
And then there's a shared desire, which I think would inform role playing.
Yeah.
I would like to play a whole thing of this.
We'd have to play a whole thing already.
Yeah. Okay. And then maybe build a framework to help people who are new to role playing. Because I'm used to role playing, you're used to role playing. But I have a lot of people who buy Desks and Dorks games, and they buy our games because it's like, wow, this is a really easy teach.
Yeah.
We're in and out in 15 minutes, and then the game is done in 2 hours. That's so cool. I've never role played before.
Yeah.
Like, how neat. And I'm thinking for those people who like are my clientele, they're gonna need a framework because this would be a hard
it'd be
to play.
Yeah, it'd be a little more intense.
Yeah, but and I think building a framework would help too. That's a good question.
All right. So last question I'd like to ask.
Yeah, please.
Should we do this? Should we develop this more?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Great. Easy answer.
Yes, please.
All right. So now tell the people on the internet who've just watched this video where they can find more from you, Kyle.
Oh, thank you. They can find us over at Desks and Dorks. We are on YouTube. We are on Instagrams. Instagrams. I sound like an old person. I love the Instagrams.
Checking the Instagrams.
Instagram is when your grandma finally gets super speed. You can get us on Twitter. If you are interested in picking up our games, you should check out itch.io. Our PDFs are there. And then we also have physical copies available on Indie Press Revolution, Exalted Funeral, World of Game Design, and our new partners, Worldwide Distribution online. So
wow, you're everywhere. Amazing.
We're trying.
All right.
I'm just trying to be you, truthfully.
Well, I'm not at any of those places. So
Yeah, but you're the goat though. Like, I walk by your booth. By the way, people who make scary games, I've bought so much Never Going Home because I was like, this game scares the shit out of me in terms of like the role playing experience.
Yeah.
But,
all right. Well, thank you so much for game jamming with me.
Dude, thank you, man.
I hope the rest of your con is great, and we will see you at the next one.
bye, everybody. Dude, that was wild. Well, that's so cool.